Hello everybody, welcome to Bass and Bonsai. Welcome to the show. Real quick video, I'm working on editing, finally got to the range. There's some of that footage already out there. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Shooting our ports versus comps, dagger builds. But I also did some GoPro footage. I've got to edit that a couple days from now. You'll see me down here, took this apart, kind of showed how dirty this girl was. She was a dirty girl. Just basically wiped it off with a cloth, didn't do any heavy cleaning because I only got about between 175 200 rounds between these two and the shadow systems. I wasn't keeping count of rounds or whatever, but that's roughly right around there. So they're really, I talked about how dirty or not dirty. I'll be honest, I don't know. Unless I get bored and decide to clean them, they really don't need cleaned other than this ported one. So in this video, I just want to talk about what so far has been working, going good, and what seemed to perform just fine when I finally got to the range, and if anything did seem weird, and not necessarily to do with comps or ports, but just in dagger builds in general. So, without further ado, the ports are, you can't knock the ports as far as once you get on range, you know, performance, shooting, you know, back-to-back shot accuracy, that kind of thing, seems very well. The comps also, they're so even, it's hard to justify one over the other. I would say, for me anyway, and if you go the eBay route, it's easier to get a ported barrel and a ported slide. If you're doing a build, you can probably get into it cheaper than if you get a slide, a threaded barrel, and a comp. But this system with a comp just runs a little bit overall cleaner. I'd say you can't feel it. You can tell it's louder, but you really can't with this one coming straight out the top or out the sides. You can feel you're shooting a comp gun. It's less obvious that in the feel and the seeing that you're shooting a comp gun compared to these ports. If you haven't watched that video or the one that's going to be coming out with the GoPro edited footage and stuff, you can definitely tell you're shooting a ported firearm. It's just more in your face to a certain extent. It doesn't really get in your way because you know it's so fast. It's I felt like I can get back on just as fast. It's just you're dealing with a little bit of a dirtier system, more in your face, and it definitely is something that you would want to get used to. You wouldn't want to just throw a ported setup together and go out, because that first few times you've fired, it's gonna be different than, just like comp's different than a regular barrel, that kind of deal. But definitely no deal breakers. I plan on I like them both roughly the same, and I've looked at the footage. You guys look and tell me what you think too. Comment below if you've seen the footage. I didn't do any slow. I'm trying to figure out how to get my GoPro footage. I had a system where I could go back and make slow-mo footage to see, but I can't really tell. All three of these felt pretty much the same, and looking back at the footage, they seem to all shoot very flat. If I had to pick one out of all of them, it would actually be this guy. I was shooting with just irons on these two at the beginning, because I have not zeroed either of these in. This one I think was, but then I switched out barrels, so it's truly really not either. So when I was just initially starting, then I turned on the red dots, and I still didn't sight them in. I was just kind of going off of looking where my irons were hitting, and then where the red dot was, and then adjusting to that. And then I was just kind of doing the shoot, you know, like if you pick a spot and you shooting your red dot, how long it takes, you know, get right back to that spot and then fire again. I was doing a few, you know, 3 to 5 shots, boom, 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 boom. And just to see, it felt like all three of these get right back. But if I had to pick one, I'd say it was this guy gets back just a touch quicker, even with all that extra, you know, stuff going on. It doesn't seem to affect you. Like it's in between you, the red dot, you know, bouncing and going right back to that spot, and you don't really let it settle. You just, as soon as it's there, hit, you know, boom, hit again, hit again, hit again, kind of thing. If I had to pick one that I liked of that, would be probably the ported. But as far as just general shooting, I think I like this And it may just because this is starting to be my favorite firearm overall, and it had the heavier light of all the three on it. But this thing just was, I think I like this setup better. I probably need to shoot that comp on a pistol frame like this because I think a lot, believe it or not, the grip has also something to do. I can't, now that I've shot these others, the Shadow Systems, I don't know, they're right there close, but I just, if out of the three, I'd honestly have to go 1, 2, 3, and these are pretty close. But that one's right with, they're right there. I was limiting myself. This one, and I'll talk about this light, is way lighter than this one. So you're basically dealing with the same everything except for this was more weight keeping it down than this, and then we had ported on this dude and the comps. So for being lighter, it was holding its own, and maybe even just a little more. Look at that little bit of dirtiness, though. It definitely gets dirtier. So that was our first trip out. Really not a ton of rounds. If I had to pick one to, like, especially, I don't, like I've talked about before, I'm just going to the range with these. I'm not going to conceal carry. I'm not going to try to doo-doo any of these. So if I honestly had to pick, just because you can keep it, it tends to be a touch cheaper, would probably go this way. But for cleaner and feels very nice, this is working its way to be my favorite pistol, the Compensated one. I have more money in it than I do this one, but this one is no slouch right there. So anyway, the stuff we've been using and all this stuff, the trigger, everything felt very good. I didn't have any issues with anything except for unless I physically slowed down and like pulled my thumb way out here, I was riding that to where I every once in a while, I finally figured it out on this one for whatever reason. I had more slide lockbacks on the last round with this one than I did even the Shadow Systems or this, and I don't know what. I thought I was trying to keep myself off, but then I would go to the last round and I'd look, and my thumb's right back there. So I talked about it, as you'll see in the upcoming video. I think instead of the CAGWorks, which goes up and over, if you don't know about those, check out CAGWorks. They're more expensive too. You can find them as cheap as $44, but they're like $50. The one I like, because before I even found it, I didn't know I didn't know if they made one or not. I'm like, this, if it was flat, kind of like my Echelon, I've talked about it before, just kind of, it comes straight out and it sticks out a little further, but it stays up. It doesn't come down at all. But the closest I found is a Ghost makes one, and they've made it for years. I found an old YouTube video with how I originally found them, and then I put in Ghost slide stop. I don't know why I hadn't found them on eBay before, but 7 to 9 years ago, somebody was talking about them, and they still make them. They make one that comes straight out with the little, that little welded-looking bubble on it, or they make one that actually goes forward with the bubble. I think I'm going to get that one. They're $18.99 on eBay. I think I'm going to get one of those, put it on, I don't know, one of these, and go out. And if I like it, though, it's going to go on anything I've got that's a Glock clone type deal, because these suck, in my opinion. And I know. I don't want to. I want to get right here. I want to go in right like this. I want to, as I go forward a little, I want to bring my elbow up, puts pressure in there. And if my thumb does get down in here, it just, where my thumb is, if it was any longer, then yeah, the other one I'm talking about wouldn't work. And if you, it depends on how, I guess, if you're holding, I feel that, and some guys talked about the CAGWorks actually gets in their way. They're like crazy high thumb right or whatever, but I like to try to keep my thumb as high as I can without it getting up in by the slide, right? I don't want to affect the slide at all. So down here, I think just the bubble sticking out and up further, if I were to somehow get down, I would feel that, and I would tell with my thumb, kind of thing. So anyway, that's what I'm going to try. But the light, this one, I didn't get a ton of rounds, but so far it's still working. It is way dimmer than our, Surefire knockoff, which it's still holding up fine. I forgot to put one on the Shadow Systems, didn't even take one up, and I I could have stuck this one on it, but I don't think I even have any. Yeah, I do have batteries in this one. I brought this slide up. Didn't even get a chance. I took this barrel. I was going to switch it around. Didn't make it to that point either. Got through the however many rounds I had up there. I took an extra box of MagTech, and I got through it all before I even switched out barrels. Or I was going to put both of these, the comped one and the ported one, on this full size grip to get a feel for it, and try out our new Lone Wolf trigger. Didn't get that far. Went through all my ammo, so I have more ammo. I'll probably go up through the week, and we will try out our full size S framed ones, that builds that we have, and just try those out. So this guy, get him up there, shoot him, maybe take the echelon, put him and echelon together in a little thing, but then also my black barrel I've talked about should be in for this guy, just to shoot him. These, in all honesty, this thing and the 19X should feel the same. Triggers are going to be different. This should be a way better trigger than stock, but we'll figure that out. So far, like everything I've tried and I've talked about in videos, you guys know the Timney Alpha, the reset, I do not like. I do not like this Red Dot, Votatu. And I can't really get it on camera. I guess I will try real quick. Oh, let me see. I can't even tell if it's on or not. There it is. So, yeah, I won't be able to get it where you guys will be able to see, but what I have happen is, like I call the ghost effect. Like even with it off, depending on what you're lighting, I'm in pretty bright lights now, so I'm going to give it its last little chance, at the range, and the range I go to, whether you're outside or inside. But at the inside one, you can adjust the lighting around. But what I have happen is, like, not only just with the reticle itself in there, I will get like circuit board look, like other stuff is illuminated through. It's a hinder, like it annoys me, and so far that's why I'm not liking this Red Dot. Like I wasn't really liking any of them except for this one. Is starting to grow on me on how easy once you get used to using it. I probably need to clean that. But this one has a crazy more adjustable on the which reticles you can use. So you guys probably can't see it, but it changes through a bunch of different ones. It's very, it's hard to explain, but I'll be honest. I was using this one, making some quick adjustments, just playing around up there today, and a Hollow Sun, not the ACSS one like I like, but just a regular 507C. And I was having an issue getting this thing to go to an adjustment I wanted. It was almost like it kept trying to auto adjust. But now lasting, this one, like I've talked about, it's got a better, right down here, there's actually a little glass you can clean. This one doesn't. So as far as lasting, it doesn't have the solar stuff. But these are like, I got this one cheap. Like somehow I found a deal on it, but they're right around, you can find them as cheap as 100, but they're like 120 bucks. The Artemis from ADE, but it does have the battery that's up top. You do have little sights that you don't necessarily need the rear sight. And so far, I mean, if I can talk myself into those, and in the long run, it'll save me money, because they're, like I said, 120 compared to even when you can find a deal on a Hollow Sun. Even the 407 series is going to cost you more than that. And so far, just the multiple brightnesses and the reticle, different ones it has, it's pretty nice. But I still like I still like this guy. It's my favorite. Now, when you're holding it way out, that bigger circle goes away. But man, especially if you're a beginner trying to figure out red dots, you cannot beat these Vulcan, ACSS Vulcans, and they have several different ones. If you see a hollow sun with that on it right there, quit shaking. That means it's got that system built in it. And it just, especially just getting the hang of it, if you still haven't figured out to, when you come up to present and you're looking for that red dot, that is just it's like a bicycle and you're learning to ride it, has training wheels. That is what this red dot is for you beginning. Or if you've saved, like I've tried red dots, they suck, I don't like them because you got to look. No, this one will get you to that right there. And I still like that. And then I like the fact if you wanted to slow down, and if you go in and take your time and get these dialed in, and you actually, zero your red dot like you would a rifle, not the same distances, but get it zeroed in. Then if you wanted to slow down and take a more precise shot, using that little, what they call the chevron, or I call it an arrow, it's just, I don't know. That, in my opinion, that's a good deal. I like those. But for just a simple red dot so far is that one. And none of them I mentioned I ended up buying. I've got a Sightmark mini shot or whatever in FDE coming, because if I can't make myself like this one, I'll either slap it on this or I'll send this off and get it milled out, because I'm pretty sure the Sightmark is the same footprint as the Delta Point Pro. Because if money was no object for me, I would buy a Delta Point Pro, FDE, send this off, probably do a few other things. And I still may put a threaded barrel on this. I haven't decided yet. I'm trying to figure out, and you guys comment if you know of any other than this ARO one that make a red dot that have these cuts like this, because I would love, and this one will not fit any of mine, these Leo Precision slides would look awesome with one of these, just a simple red dot. But these are like $150. These ARO, the AT3 tactical ones. They go like perfect with these square, it's like squares and little hexagon looking things. Of course, I got it stuck on this one that has no kind of matching things or whatever. It kind of looks big and gaudy in a way. Kind of looks cool. It's a pretty big window. Just a dot, though. Just a simple dot. But honestly, that's all you need. So anyway, stay tuned, guys. A lot more coming. Just wanted to get that quick video out there talking about these. I did have, while I was shooting them, I had these in, but I didn't try it without them. The Shadow Systems didn't have it. I don't know if you can actually detect all that kind of stuff or not on reducing felt recoil. Just tone it. But these like crazy easy to shoot. Funny story real quick, and then I'll get out of here. Steve Spears. I ran into that guy, RC Racer. I run into him all over. I'm shooting in number like 5 booth, and next one over, number 6, as I'm getting ready to leave, I'm done. I'm like starting to put stuff up, and I just out of the corner of my eye, I went to throw something away. I think the box of MagTech ammo that I went through, that I just had stuffed in the range bag. Like, I'll go throw this away. Sure enough, Steve Spears is there with his boy. He just got his carry concealed permit, so they were trying to find a gun, and they were shooting smaller, like the Smith & Wesson Shield, the one of the, I don't know, they were shooting some different smaller 9mm. I kept telling him, I was like, I said, how much money you want to spend? And I don't think he was wanting to spend more than $500 or $600 just on his first, just a small 380 or 9mm. I was like, you need to try CR920 or one of the, I think it was a SIG. I was pointing at the Spectre comps or whatever. I'm telling you, once you try one of those, you'll justify the extra little money if you're wanting to, because he tried the one and took it back and said it was a little snide. I go, yeah, those I hate. Charles has a Ruger. I think they tried a Ruger, and I think they were shooting a 380. They start. I don't know. Anyway, but smaller ones, I've not shot a Glock 26. I don't think you could make me like a Glock 26, because the minute I grab a firearm and this pinky won't fit it, I'm out. I'm like, nope. You got your trigger finger. It's not designed. You're not going to be able to put any weight, any pressure to help hold. you're losing that, and you got this smaller, less weight everything, and yeah, 9mm is gonna, yeah, you can do it, but why? So, like with what's out there now, I would recommend. And he was looking at the Hellcat. I think he shot a Hellcat, but I was like, yeah, you need the Hellcat Pro probably, a little bit bigger. But yeah, everybody's kind of going to that. They're going to this more or less. I'm not saying 100%, but they're going to the like Glock 19 size. It's just in these little narrower, you know, the Glock 48, 43X, the Hellcat Pro, the SIG Macro or XL, whatever is probably the way to go if you definitely don't want to get that snappiness. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gone. Comment below if you have any questions.